Hello, I'm Dr. Brent Gibson, and today we would like to welcome you back to the Be Unhackable book club, where we actually talk about unhackable and how you can live an unhackable life. And the idea today is we're doing day number 11, which is time and write your check. Now, in a second, Carrie's going to actually explain this to you, and you're going to understand a little bit more about what that means to write your check. And it's a huge, big concept. So listen carefully, and then I will come back and I will talk about it here. So this video is a little bit longer with Carrie, so you're going to actually see it in 3 pieces. So if it clicks out of the video and comes back, that's what's going on. These videos were created previously, so if he makes reference to things in November or whatever, that's the reason. So again, my goal here is to help you reach your dreams, reach your goals, live your dream, and enjoy an extraordinary life. So this concept, if all the other days up to this point you haven't done this, except you kind of need to know what your boon is, but if otherwise, if some of these things you haven't been able to do, if you can sit down and say, I'm going to write my check, that in and of itself will make a difference in your life. So let's turn to Carrie first.
Hey, it's Carrie Oberbrunner. Hope you're doing well today. I'm going to wait until this thing rolls. Here we go. Look at this. Hey, we are in the Unhackable 30-day book club. Today is day 11. It's an exciting day. It's all about time. Write your check. Now, here's what I know, folks. Many of us, we get hacked because we don't think that our desire or dream has happened yet. In other words, we get hacked by what's called the time objection, which literally says, my dream hasn't happened yet. Or some of us get hacked by the space objection. We say, I can't see my dream yet. And here's what I know, folks. If you're going to be someone who is unhackable, you have to have the eyes of faith. You have to see things that other people can't see. Now, you might think that's a little nutso, but let me just tell you, did Walt Disney see things that nobody else saw? Absolutely. Did Steve Jobs? Absolutely. Did Oprah? Absolutely. Jesus Christ? Absolutely. It doesn't matter who you're talking about. Every single person who's ever been unhackable has literally overcome the time objection, like my dream hasn't happened yet, or the space objection. Hey, I can't see my dream yet. Here's what I know, folks. In this chapter, it's super cool. What we basically talk about is a concept called first creation and second creation. And we know from neurobiology and quantum physics that every single thing exists in 2 places at once if it's made of matter. In other words, this was something that Einstein talked about a long, long time ago. He called it spooky action from a distance. He didn't understand it, how particles, how atoms could essentially be in 2 places at once. But we now know through all the research, it's possible. It's not only possible, it's proven. So why does that have to do anything with becoming unhackable? And how does this relate to your everyday life? It basically means that every single thing that you see right now around you, the book, my glasses, a water bottle, everything that you see in life has been created twice. First physically, and first mentally and second physically. Think about that. Every single thing that you're looking at right now, a clock, the statue, it was created once in the mind of the designer and second in physical space. And so I want to encourage you that it doesn't matter if no one else can see your dream right now. It really doesn't. You have to believe and you have to envision it for yourself. Now, we tell in this story about writing the check. And if you're familiar with the Jim Carrey story, you already know what I'm going to say. If you're not familiar with it, you gotta check it out. It's online. It's all over the place. I'll tell that story in a moment. But in the book, I talk about this amazing realization. You ready for this? Check this out. Matter exists in two places at once. Ideas are thoughts, and thoughts are electrical energy. Think about that. Ideas have electrons, and electrons can exist in two places at once. So I basically say ideas are thoughts, thoughts are made of matter, thoughts have electrons, electrons exist in two places at once. Therefore, ideas can exist in two places at once. That's pretty spooky. That means that when you have an idea, it exists somewhere else in the universe at the same time because it's made of matter, which is really cool. Why is that cool? Because it gets over the obstacle of thinking, oh, nothing will ever happen. It's already happened. It's already happened once. You've give yourself some credit. You've already created it once. So when I wanted to partner with Hollywood celebrities, hang on. When I wanted to partner with Hollywood celebrities for my book Day Job to Dream Job, and I wanted to launch it at the Shawshank Redemption, with Hollywood celebrities I didn't even know, I totally envisioned it. And guess what? It happened. Here's the signed picture. Thanks, Carrie. I don't know if you could see that. It's the legit signature of Bob Gutton. Folks, I'm telling you, this stuff isn't just woo-woo. This stuff is science. I mean, God even says, okay, check it out. God says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus told the centurion, when the centurion came and said, hey, my servant's sick. Jesus said, okay, I'll go heal him. The centurion says, no, no, no. Just say the word and it will be done. And Jesus says, your servant is healed. And way across town, it happened. Now that's pretty crazy. And Jesus also says, greater things will my followers do. I'm just saying, folks, there's a whole dynamic that we haven't even leveraged. And it's not anything else that, I mean, haven't you ever done that? You thinking about calling someone and all of a sudden you're gonna call them and they call you, or a minute later they text you. I'm just saying there's a whole nother connection out there that we just don't think about. And I want you to realize that oh, look at even scripture right there. Jesus says, if you've thought about a woman with lust, you've already committed adultery in your heart. Folks, I'm just saying the positive and the negative. If you hate your brother, you've already committed murder in your heart, right? Thoughts are very powerful. And I want you to be aware that you have a lot more power that God's given you than you've ever believed. So I got to roll soon here, but all I'm saying is that whether you're a person of faith or you're a person of science, I document it all in the book. I talk about it being found in science. Objects can be in multiple states simultaneously. An atom can be in two places or spin in opposite directions at once. This means that they are entangled. And you literally have thoughts and dreams and desires that God has planted deep within you. And all I'm saying is it has already been created. If you've thought it, it's been created. So stop hacking yourself. Stop saying, oh, but I can't see it. But I don't have it yet. Says who? Again, you're being stuck with time. So Jim Carrey, in the book, I document a case, and we actually have you write what's called a boon check. It's pretty powerful. By the way, how many copies do you have of this book yet? I hope a ton. I hope you're sharing this book. I hope you're going to unhackablebook.com, because every single book purchase helps a child in need through B1G1. You can go check at the bottom of that website and see all the 6,000 impacts that you've done by getting the book. Thank you. That's a big applause to you. I wanted to do that. I wanted the book to help people in need. I just didn't know how it would happen, but I created it in my mind. I said, this has got to exist. And then all of a sudden, B1G1, 2 weeks later, pops up on my radar, b1g1.com. It already exists. You see, I think sometimes God prepares us in prayer before we're even ready to ask. That's what it says in the scriptures. Anyway, Jim Carrey has this desire to have $10 million. In 1992, he writes a check in his Toyota overlooking the California Valley, and he says, by Thanksgiving 1995, I'm going to have $10 million. And he wrote himself a check for acting services rendered. You can Google this, folks. It's pretty nuts, though. And guess what? In 1995, right before Thanksgiving, he discovered he would receive $10 million for his role in Dumb and Dumber. Come on now, folks. Now, am I saying you just write yourself a check and it pops out? Come on now. I'm not going to insult you or me. No, that's not what happens. What happens is that Jim Carrey worked incredibly hard. Jim Carrey didn't get hacked. Jim Carrey wrote the check, but then he also did the work. You need to do both. We know from all the studies that writing down your goal, you're more likely to achieve it. Why? Because it's a micro commitment. I dare you to write down your goal. Most of us are scared. I've been scared to write down my goal. If you go to carryoberbrunner.com/opus, for years I was scared to write down my opus. And my buddy Chet kept saying, why don't you write it down? And I'm like, I already got it up here. The truth is I was scared. I was scared to write it down because I had lost other dreams in my life. And I didn't want to write it down because I didn't want the pain of not making it. I knew something was powerful about writing it down. So I dare you to write it down. Crystal's writing her check. I love it. She's on fire. She just won an Author Elite Award for her book. Quitting to win? I think so. I think that's it. Anyway, folks, I got to go teach some. I don't have to. I get to. I get to go teach some unhackable coaches. By the way, big shout out to Scott. Scott joined today to become an unhackable coach. So welcome to the team. Welcome to the family. We're going to see him in about 5 minutes over in the private Facebook group for all of our coaches. If you need to be a coach, come on now. I know you've thought about becoming an unhackable coach. Join us. We're doing amazing stuff. Daphne's already written hers, and she's ready to cash it. Take care, everybody. Be a soul on fire. Keep becoming unhackable. Join us in the day 11. If you're just getting the book, don't worry. Just get it and join us. You can get the ebook immediately delivered today, right now. You can get the audiobook. The audiobook's blowing up. I didn't think the audiobook would blow up. It's outselling the physical copies right now. Pretty crazy. So go over to Audible. There's a lot of bonuses. Even if you have the book, I encourage you to get the audiobook. I just listen to it again. Why do I listen to it? Because I want to immerse myself in the content. The content's very powerful. Take care. We'll see you, folks.
Don't you love that story of how Jim Carrey actually took a dream, and he didn't just write down a goal and say, oh, at some point I want to make it to this point. He actually made a bigger commitment. Yeah, it's a micro commitment, as Carrey talks about, Carrey Overrunner. But the idea, Jim Carrey actually wrote his check, wrote his Boone check. And in that Boone check, he actually made a decision about 3 things. He said he made a decision about the dollar amount. He made a decision about the date of when it was going to happen. And he made a decision about the description, exactly what was going to happen. The interesting thing about this principle is you can actually do it more than once. You don't have to say, okay, Jim Carrey had one goal, put it out a little ways, and that's it. You could do it, say, well, I need to make a micro commitment for 3 months from now, or the end of this month, or whatever. And then by creating that, by taking that, then what's going to happen is three things. What they've shown in the studies, they've actually shown that if you write it down, you're more likely to achieve it, like he said. If you track it, then you accelerate the process of achieving it. So basically what you're saying is, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to make that goal, and then I'm going to start tracking what little micro steps, which we've talked about in other things, the little steps I'm taking to get there, and celebrate those little steps forward. So what I'm inviting you to do is two things today. One is to write your check. Write your Boone check and start moving forward on that. And number two is to start tracking your progress. What little things are you doing today? Maybe it's one single step that you do today. What's the one thing you're doing today to help you reach that Boone? Help you reach that Boone check. This is Dr. Brant Gibson, and this is the Be Unhackable Book Club. And I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're taking this journey with me. We were just finished day 11. Tomorrow we'll be doing day 12. If you need the Unhackable book, and he talked about the audio book, and he talked about the ebook, getting it immediately, those kind of things, I'm making that available as well. But I have actually already purchased you a book. If you would like a book, go to the unhackablechoices.com website. It'll actually take you into the Facebook group, the Be Unhackable Facebook group, and you can actually find out how you can get your book for free. All you have to do is pay for the shipping and handling. This is Dr. Brant Gibson. Have a great rest of your day, and take the first step to be unhackable so that you can truly reach your goals, live your dream, and enjoy an extraordinary life. You deserve the extraordinary life you were born to have. Have a great rest of your day. I'm excited.